does it take to build an app? Well, it's a little bit like asking how much does it cost to make a movie. You could film something on your iPhone basically for free, or you could hire a huge Hollywood studio and spend $500 million on a blockbuster. And so typically when someone hires Fueled, the first step is to build an MVP, or a minimum viable product. And so that's what we'll talk about today in terms of how much does an app cost. So what does it take to build an MVP? Well, that first version will usually take 2 to 4, maybe 5 months of development. We're talking about a few full-time developers and then some additional support from designers that may be full-time for some parts of the project and part-time for others. And then the same goes for product managers who are focusing on strategy and implementing the execution of the app. So coordinating between developers, designers, and then themselves thinking about how a feature should actually work. And then project managers to keep everything else on track. And so typically that results in a project that's anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 for an initial release.
Certain features are more expensive to build than others. For example, apps that require m-commerce functionality, or that have high levels of security, like a fintech app, or high levels of animation, like a gaming app, tend to be more expensive to build.
And so when we think about the cost of a feature, we translate that into time, because projects are built on a time basis. So when you think about how long a feature takes to actually build, a really important consideration is how that feature is implemented. For example, with Forgot Password, one version of implementing it is just letting users reset their password right in the app. And then a more elaborate version might be requiring that they receive an email, they click a link in the email, that then has to open somewhere, that email has to be designed, the copy for it written, the code to authenticate and generate that email, and then receive it and open it in the right place and let the password be reset when the link is open. And so each one of these steps, while not particularly complicated or difficult to build in their own right, is in and of itself an additional cost, because it's additional time to actually create and implement. So one particular feature could cost a widely varying price based on how you go about creating that.
It's typically less expensive to launch an app on iOS as opposed to Android, because there's less device and operating system fragmentation. With Android devices, there's lots of different devices and operating systems that you need to test against and design for. With iOS, it tends to be a bit more streamlined. One thing to consider when building an app is that it's not a one-time cost. Technology is an ongoing cost. The app or website or both is something that you're going to need to maintain and grow over time to stay competitive. So you want to think about how you're going to be able to have this product live far into the future, not just launch and then fade away.